auntie genre author Portia D. I'm back here again, and this time I have book review. So I am going to review, and the images of the book covers will appear somewhere here in the video. But the Dragon Bone series by Celeste Harte. First off, I'm so glad that this is the first book review that I'm doing for my video channels and stuff, because Celeste is actually a friend of mine. Under her artist name, Rebecca Brown, she created the covers for my debut series, the Love Lost series, as well as illustrating my children's book, Princesses Can Do Anything, and she's working with me on Princess Can Do Anything. So, super excited. This is the first book or set of books that I'm reviewing for my channel. And I hope you guys love these books too, because I actually liked it. And I'm not a big fantasy person. Not a big fantasy person, but I really did enjoy her books. There wasn't a whole lot of other backstories and stuff going on with it that drew me away from the main story. But as always, I got notes. So let's get it. Alright. Also, I just want y'all to know, yeah, I legit been putting my logo on everything. Just, cuz. Alright, to these books. The Dragon Bone series by Celeste Harte. Why did I feel like I just did not get that right? I'm going to edit that out. Dragon Bone series by Celeste Harte. It has fire magic, arranged marriage, dragons who breathe fire, some who breathe electricity, like they're elementals, some who could legit control the ground. Let's see, what else? There's jealousy and betrayal from family and friends. Love and loyalty from built family, because in this book, you could not trust the ones that you was related to, with the exception of Rand, and I'll get to him later. But not the two main characters. If they had any blood relatives, them suckers was enemies. Okay, enemies, jealous, spiteful, out to get you and take you down. They was legit your worst enemy. Okay. What else I got here? Love and loyalty from built family. Dragon gods. Loved them. Loved different dragon gods. There's multiple in the book. Colonialism. That's in this book. I myself, because of how I read and how I picture things in my mind when I read, I could very much see one set of group or people from a country pretty much being the black folks of the world, and another country being the Asians of the world. Other group being the Asians of the world, and then you had the colonizers, who were very pale and couldn't function without the assets that they were drawing from the people of color in their world. Does it sound familiar? I'm just saying. So, okay, where are we? Resistance to the colonialism. It took a minute. Ooh, it took a minute, but when it showed up, it showed up. Okay. Let's see. Kidnapping, black girl magic, black boy joy, love and revenge. Again, I absolutely love this series. It was about a young woman named Joshi. She was just about 18 at the time that the story begins in book 1. Hold on. Alright, so I'm back. I had some food brought to me, so that was it showing up. But Joshi, who was 18, Kamel, who was a little bit older than her, both of them in different ways had been abandoned by their families. Kamel was pretty much given up by his family, sold out as well by his family multiple times throughout the book. But when we see him the first time, he had already been sold out by them once, when he turned 18, because he had fire power, fire magic, and that was the people in power, the colonizers. And I for, I should have wrote down in my notes, but there's a country name like for those folks. I didn't write it down, but I just like to refer to them as the colonizers, because that's literally what I called them whenever their name came up in in the series. So the colonizers didn't like anyone who had fire magic, or what we later learned were called half-dracs. In the book, the colonizers refer to them as firebugs, but they're actually called half-dracs. So he was sold out by them, almost killed in the process, though. Parents didn't care about him. Kamel has a twin brother as well, identical twin brother. However, his twin brother does not have the powers. He does not have the orange eyes that Kamel has. That's an indicator of the tribe that he's from, the dragon tribe. So Joshi, also dragon tribe, has the orange eyes. She has fire power too. However, at the stage that we meet her in the book, she cannot control it. Kamel can control his when we meet him in the book. Kamel is the king, or the Faresh of the land. And Kasundi is the name of the land that they are in. And he has a bad reputation amongst his subjects. They don't trust him. They think he's evil and he's just been killing folks left and right. They don't realize that he has a reason for everything that he's doing. Like he's doing everything for them, and they don't realize it at first. And even when he arranges the marriage with Joshi's, the closest thing that she has to a parent, because she was given up when she was like 3 or 5 years old, because she accidentally burnt down the family home because of her firepower. She was a child and she couldn't control it. Her parents left her at the doorstep of a foster home, and she never got adopted. So the lady who ran the foster home, Nana, is the closest thing that Joshi has had to a parent. And one of the girls that she grew up in the home with, Laura, shout out to Laura, shout out to Day Ones. I'm gonna get to them soon. But that's the closest thing that she has to a sister. She had Talad as well, who was there in the home. He left after he started getting in trouble. We'll come back to him. But yeah, Kamel arranged to marry Joshi with Nana. And of course, Joshi, not knowing everything going on behind the scenes, she didn't realize that he was marrying her to protect her, because he knew that she had the firepower, because he had accidentally, just happened to see her igniting and exploding, one day. But Joshi being Joshi, she runs away from him, runs away from the marriage, and in doing so, she gets into trouble and is put in a sticky situation where she's blackmailed and has to work against the guy who's about to be her husband, with the colonizers. But of course, she didn't know the depths of how they had destroyed her people and her land. She wasn't aware of that at the time. What else here? When she learns it though, she gets heated and she gets revenge. I loved it. Joshi got on my nerves a couple times in the book, especially the first book. So like, she gets in her own way a lot in the first book. In the second book, she really finds herself. In the third book, she becomes the queen that both her and her people need. That she needs, that her husband Kamel needs, and that their people need. She becomes the queen that they needed. She's a strong one. She is a strong one, and I absolutely love her little self. Kamel is a hot-headed something. He has a temper, but he loves Joshi, and he's loved her since he saw her that day. Of course, she didn't know that it was him who saw her. She just heard somebody call her name, and she took off running, scared, didn't want to be found out that she was so very different from anyone else, because she didn't know that anybody else had this fire magic. And Kamel grew up not knowing that anyone else had the fire magic. He thought he was all alone. So when he saw Joshua, he was like, whoa, okay, the stuff I'm going through to do, she has to come along with me. She has to be my wife. I'm doing this for her, for us, for our people. So, but yeah, she works it out. Kamel loves her from the start. She of course doesn't know that he's been in love with her for, a couple of years or whatever at that point when they arranged the marriage and stuff. Joshie has this habit of running away, which I already mentioned. She ran away the one time, ran to her friend Celeste to help her out. He called himself helping her out, and the person he got to help her wasn't no good. Which I think he kind of knew that a little bit from the start. But as he found out why she was running away, because at first she didn't really tell him why she was running away, and after she got settled into her new lifestyle as the queen or Pharesha of Kasundi, he became jealous. He became jealous. He became that friend where when you come up, Talad was that friend that expected you to stay down with him in the gutter, in the streets, doing nonsense, misbehaving even though you know better. And even though you're capable of being much more and doing more, he just wants to stay where he's at, because that's where he's comfortable, and that's all he knows, and that's where he values himself. His self-worth is horrible, so he expects his friends to stay down in that same gutter position with him. So when Joshie came up, it didn't sit too well with him, and we see that come book 2, and then again in book 3. When I say I want to fight him on behalf of Joshie, no, I wanted to fight him. I straight want to box this dude. If you follow me on Twitter, you can see my thread on this whole thing. I straight want to box dude a couple of times throughout this series. Let's see who else. She gets it her own way. Kamel, I said Jamel. Kamel was so forgiving, especially after Joshie kind of betrays him, but the way that she does it, she also saves him in the process. She gives the colonizers a little bit of what they think they want, not the whole picture, but then she backtracks and saves Kamel, because she loved him too, even though she wasn't really ready to admit that at that point when she took off from Kamel the second time. But he comes to get her and rescue her, because he's like, you're my queen. You're my queen. I love you. And I knew the whole time that they were bribing you and watching you and had you report to me. I knew the whole time that they were blackmailing you. I was just hoping that you would come to trust me enough to tell me so that I could help you get out of it. He ended up helping her get out of it anyway and came and rescued her and saved the day because he is a man. But it was so great to watch and to read. I say watch because it plays like a movie in my head as I read. The day ones, Rand. So Kamel's twin brother, when Kamel got kicked out the house at 18 and ran away because their parents had sold him out, Rand went with him. And the parents tried to keep Kamel and Rand separated all the time except for when they were in the house. That's their one time. They went to separate schools and everything. They tried to keep them separated. And which was so baffling to me, as well to the boys. But they were close. They had each other's back. They stuck with each other. They ran away, joined the why I can't think of it. Why is it slipping my mind right now? Joined the rebels, the resistance and stuff together. He was Kamel's right hand through dragon training other people and handling things there at the palace. Unfortunately, the rest of their family had to come along with them at the palace because when Kamel became became king, his family became a royal clan, so that meant they had access to the palace and could live there and all that fun jazz. They got all the perks, but they still worked to bring Kamel down. They still worked with the colonizers to bring Camille down, even though his rise meant their rise as well. How dumb. Like how stupid do you have to be to mess up your own bag that you didn't even work for? I mean, his other brothers worked, and his mom and his dad, which his mom, ooh, I want to fight her. Ooh, that evil bitch. I want to fight her. Okay, let's see. Where else am I at? Rand, day one. Laura, who Joshy grew up with in the foster home. That's her day one. She was fierce about her. She stood up to their sort of mutual friend, because she wasn't that close with Talad like that. Stood up for Joshy to him when Joshy needed somebody to come through for her when she got sick, when they were in the dens, when they were hiding out in the dens. Laura came, no questions asked. She was there with her, helped her. I don't want to give too much of the book away. I really don't. I really don't want to give too much of the book away. But day one, Nana, day one for Joshy and for Camille, because she was the one who actually helped him find the rebels and helped him join and become part of the rebels after he got kicked out and was living on the street with his twin brother. So day one there, Asan, Arusi, Kes. Kes is a ride or die, and I mean that like a for real ride or die. Cause book 3, Lord, he broke my heart. I was like, damn, Kes, damn. But I know why he did it. He did it for good reason, and Talad got exactly what was coming to him. Talad got what was coming to him. That Chancellor who kept sneaking up on Joshy in the palace in book 1, he got what, when we see him again in book 3, he got exactly what was coming for him. Yep. And the car. That's how I felt about him. Like, again, I want to fight you. I want to fight you. The Drake bonds. When Joshy said, forget this, I'm going to attempt it and do it, and she did it, and she got it right the first time there. With Ocean was, yeah, they ended up naming that dragon Ocean. And how she did it, and then how later we see in book 2 she uses it again. Or wait, what's that, book 2? She uses it again to Drake bond with several dragons, so she has several dragons under her command and control. And how in tune her and the dragons became with each other, like her dragons, how in tune they became with each other, was so absolutely beautiful. I was so glad when they figured that out, or that she was just willing to try it without fully even knowing what it was and what it could do. That was very beautiful and stuff to watch, and show the connection between the dragons and those of the dragon clan, to be something much stronger than what they thought it was. Much like how us as African Americans, our connection to black culture overall, and I mean across the entire diaspora and even the continent, is stronger than what we think is. We just don't realize a lot because of what we've been taught here in America. That's just my parallel there. But it was a absolute beautiful story when Camille finally did the Drake bond and bonded with his dragon, Huntress, and how they darted and tried to save everybody that was in the den and get rid of Camille. And then you had Kes, who basically just Drake bonded instantly right there with his dragon. Was like, no, Camille, it's not about to be you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this sacrifice. You got a wife. You got a future. You have to lead the people, because only like I can be the rebel leader. I've been the rebel leader before. I was the rebel leader before. Camille had came along and became king, became Faresh. However, I cannot be Faresh. That's how Kes was looking. It's like, I can't be Faresh. I can be the rebel leader, but I can't be Faresh. We need you to be Faresh, because you are about the only person who could be both Faresh and rebel leader. So, and like the leader of the dragon clan, um, dragon tribe. So beautiful. Overall, I would say 4 out of 5. Again, I am not a huge fantasy person, so for me to find fantasy books that I actually really like and get in tune with, it doesn't happen often. I'll go over some fantasy books that I actually really liked. I'll do that in another video. But 4 out of 5 stars for this series. I hope you guys grab it, get it. It's available on Amazon. I do believe, because I do paperbacks, obviously you can see my bookcase back here. I do believe the ebooks are on Amazon as well. I'll look at that. But yeah, so these are the books. I'm gonna try to put a link for them in the description below so that you guys can check them out. And I'll be back with some book reviews next week. Alright, have a good one and take care.